What's up, y'all? Back again today with a very important video. Today I wanted to talk about the election results. Yes, of course, this morning we found out that Mr. Donald J. Trump has been elected the President of the United States. Now, there's a few things that I have to say about this, but I wanted to cover a couple topics. I wanted to talk not mostly about the election results, not about the politics of the particular candidates. I wanted to talk about us, the general population of America, and the reactions that we're having and we will have in the future. So, obviously there were two main candidates, Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump. There was a litany of allegations from Hillary Clinton's camp towards Donald Trump and vice versa, claiming deceitfulness, claiming multiple things that are not good for leadership. So we had the email scandal, the WikiLeaks scandal, the grabber by the, yeah, you know. We had all these different scandals, but after it was all said and done, Donald Trump was elected the President of the United States of America, respectfully. Again, though, I want to speak more about the reaction from our people. Now, I have to go back a few months ago to when I went to the Donald Trump election, or excuse me, I went to the Donald Trump convention, a Donald Trump rally, if you would say. So if you go back a few months on my channel, you'll see a quick video I made when I went to a Donald Trump rally when he came out here to Houston, Texas. I was one of maybe 100 silent protesters out of 20,000 plus. So I was less than 1% of the people who were there to protest, but I kept my composure and I kept my professionalism, and I stood there and I watched Mr. Donald Trump. The reason why I went to the Donald Trump rally was, for one, to personally see, to personally bear witness to it, to personally experience a large demographic of our country who feels in opposition to what my beliefs are. I wanted to be in the midst of these people. I wanted to actually see the rhetoric that Mr. Donald Trump is saying. I wanted to see it in person. So I went to his rally. When I went to his rally, when I found out that he was coming out here, I told my family, I told my friends, I told my social networks that I was going to go to the Donald Trump rally when he comes to Texas. No one believed me. Everyone laughed it off. And then when he came, they still didn't believe that I was going to go. I went by myself. I stood in line for over 2 hours to watch this man talk, because I felt in my mind at the time, before he was elected, that I needed to be involved in this process. Okay? So when I went to the Donald Trump rally, I saw a number of people there, and some of them were intellectuals, some of them were belligerent, but that doesn't matter. The reaction from my friends and family was that I was crazy for going to the Donald Trump rally. It was a dangerous thing for me to go to the Donald Trump rally, and most of them told me, or asked me rather, if I was scared. They said, aren't you scared? Being around all those people, and especially Texas being, let's just say, somehow a conservative state, they felt that a certain amount of his supporters may become belligerent and maybe physically attack me. Now, this was never a concern for me for many reasons. But I wanted to talk about those people. The people who told me that I shouldn't have gone to the rally. The people who were scared to go to the rally, and who were scared to involve themselves in the rhetoric that was being displayed, and scared to be in close proximity with the people who felt differently from them. How do you feel now? What now? Are you going to be scared every time Donald Trump speaks as our president? Are you going to be scared every time you run into someone who supports the ideologies of Donald Trump? Are you going to be scared when Donald Trump comes to your city now? Because now he's not just a rich person who fell into politics who is running, but we know is going to lose. Now he's been elected president, and the same people who were telling me that I shouldn't have gone to go to his rally are now telling me nothing. I went to work this morning, the morning of the results coming in, and everyone was quiet. Everyone was not only quiet, they were sad and depressed. America fell into a deep state of depression this morning when they found out Donald Trump won. And I'm sitting here, a person who personally doesn't have a horse in the race, but I, being a person who understands that certain politics, certain politicians and certain governments don't necessarily have my best interests at heart. Me knowing that for years, I'm looking at society and the average American in a sense of wanting to help them, in a sense of pity, because we're going to see, I suppose, a number of people who are just flat out going to lose their minds, who are flat out going to become belligerent and not know what to do simply because Donald Trump has been elected president. And this is why I wanted to make this video, because we can't fall into fear-mongering, we can't fall into hateful speeches, and we can't become submissive to this. This is the main thing that I wanted to touch on, is moving forward, we have to make a plan as to how we're going to handle our new reality. Okay, how we're going to basically move and maneuver in this new reality. Now, some people say, oh, they're going to go to Africa, they're going to go to Canada, some other people say they're going to stay here, but they're going to stock up on firearms and they're going to get an underground bunker. To which I would say, how long will you last under those circumstances? For instance, if you're planning to flee the country or going to an underground bunker with canned goods and ammunition, it seems to me that you're doing so with the idea that maybe some internal conflict is going to happen within the United States. With that being said, how long do you potentially feel that you can live under the conditions of, say, a war within the confines of our jurisdictions? How long can you live in this underground bunker? How long, or in what way exactly do you plan to move to Africa right now, when you don't know an African dialect, when you don't know any African people, when you don't have a job or shelter lined up? How exactly are we going to utilize these forms of getting away from this Mr. Evil Donald Trump and all of his evil followers? Which I'm not calling them evil, but this is what they've been labeled as. And lastly, I want to pose one more question, or maybe state a fact. People are mad that Donald Trump was elected president, as if Donald Trump paid his way into the election and paid every single person to go out into the polls and vote. Again, I want to bring up the fact that I personally went to a Donald Trump rally with 20,000 human beings in one city. 20,000 human beings who were supporting this rhetoric. So while many of us are mad that Donald Trump got elected and Hillary didn't and many people didn't vote and everyone's mad, we've yet to place the blame, or we've yet to place any acceptance, we've yet to place anything on the people who actually voted. There are a large number of people who voted for Donald Trump, and I was watching last night the numbers. He was winning all of the states. So I'm in Texas, for instance, but when I went to work, everybody in work is so mad, but he won Texas. He had actual people who voted. So why I bring this up is not necessarily to talk about the politics of the voting process, but it is to say, now, America, you have to face your fears. Now, general, regular civilian, you must confront this ideology that opposes yours. Now, many people are scared of this because they don't know how to confront an ideology that is aggressive or that opposes theirs. Why? Well, because they haven't researched their own ideology enough to stand on it. So when it is confronted by an opposing ideology, we want to fight, we want to flight, we want to run. We want to do everything but confront it with righteousness and intellectuality. So my suggestion is learn yourself, learn your history, learn a righteous ideology, so that when you are confronted, whether it be by Donald Trump's administration, whether it be by one of people who support Donald Trump rhetoric, don't be scared. Don't try to run to a different country or go and get a large gun with a large amount of ammunition. The better solution is to arm yourself with knowledge and righteousness so as to stay on your square, because this new time is a new time for all of us. And one last thing I want to say is America is but a little bit over 200 years old, whereas civilizations, human civilizations, have been around for thousands of years. So with that being said, why are we acting as if America is the end-all be-all? By that I mean, if humans have been in existence for at least 5,000 years, if civilizations, whether it be the Roman civilization, Babylonian civilizations, and great civilizations that have risen to power, remained in power, offered great contributions to the human civilization, but have eventually failed, why is it that we're acting like America, which has only been in conception for less than 1% of human existence, why are we acting like America's ideologies and culture is the end-all be-all for us as human beings? Why are so many people scared now that maybe America's ideologies may change into something different, when in actuality our country is only 200 some odd years old out of thousands and thousands of years? Out of all the people who have risen up to power in different civilizations around the globe, America is a baby compared to that. But we're acting as if the history, the ideologies, the implementations, the activities are what has been in existence since the conception of humanity. That doesn't even make any sense. And furthermore, we're acting as if America as a entity, as an empire, is going to be in perpetual, everlasting nature, as if America will be here in thousands and thousands of years. Now, I'm not one to say if it will or if it won't, but I can only make the observation that what we call the United States of America has only been formed since 1776, right? So that's a little bit over 200 years. Before that, there were empires that offered great things to humanity, and even they failed. So why are we so scared? Why? Well, because, like I said, we have not been privy to our correct history. We do not study our history as much as we should, and critical thinking is not promoted in our society. So I'm not going to get too much into it, but I wanted to mention these few things. It's not so much about the election results. It's more so how we're going to operate in this new reality that is a Donald Trump presidency. How are you going to deal with new laws that may affect your family? How are you going to deal with supporters who may come into contact with you that may challenge your belief system in an aggressive fashion? Are you going to go fight them? Are you going to shoot them down in the street because they don't believe what you believe, because they didn't vote for Hillary Clinton? That doesn't even make any sense. And furthermore, as a righteous individual, we should take this time to understand that these things were written in Scripture. These things were meant to happen. We are seeing now the ugly face of America rear its head, and we must confront. Again, it's not just the rhetoric of Donald Trump, because his rhetoric alone did not put him in the position to become the president. He was elected president, meaning by a body of people, us. So in the same way that we love to say money is the root of all evil, or social media is ruining us as a society, we'll never take the accountability upon ourselves to realize that we are the ones that are printing, spending, and hoarding the money in undesirable fashions. We are the one that are putting negative images on social media. We are the ones that are seeking negative images and reinforcing negative images with support on social media. So before you decide to point the finger at Donald Trump, before you decide to say it's money, and before you decide to say social media, let's realize that we as the population are what is giving power and is giving energy to these negative things for them to succeed and for them to live on. So please think about that. Do not be scared. If you are a righteous individual, if you believe in the overall righteous nature and the godly nature of things, this is a time that was forewarned to us. This is a time that true children and soldiers of what I call God need to rally around each other. They need to meditate, they need to pray, they need to make affirmations to themselves, they need to study their education, they need to study their history, they need to study their ideologies so as it cannot be diminished and it can be strengthened. And we need to rally around each other and give support, because we've understood now that this generation, the iPhone and iPad, everything that has been made selfish for us has not led us to progression. It's time for righteousness. righteousness including more than one people. You cannot be righteous with just yourself. Righteousness is based on the predisposition that you involve someone else. So with that being said, thank you so much for your time. I just want to tell you, don't be stressed. Don't be depressed. Everybody at work was so depressed and so stressed out because Donald Trump won. But hypocritically, they actually didn't believe in Hillary Clinton's approach either. So let's get back to governing our bodies, governing our own self, our own soul, and our own mind, and our own actions, as to where we don't necessarily need a government to dictate things for us. Again, I love you all, and if something happens to me in the process or you in the process, just know righteousness will prevail for all. Thank you so much, and vibrate higher.